Now if we look to the side of the X5 M50i, there are no chrome bits around the windows. It's all blacked out because of the M Sport package. Their wheels are M Sport wheels. I love these wheels because these are the same wheels that are on the 3 Series, really, the 330. They're similar, they're just much bigger. These are 20-inch and they're the same all around. And as we make our way around the car, there's still no chrome bits. The M Sport package adds the sports exhaust and this bumper that does not have any aluminum finish to it. The whole vehicle is basically one color, and this is Phytonic blue. Now if we moved over to the base X5, you can see that the bumper has black on it and parts of it is white. It has the aluminum finish to add to the sportiness. It also has a trailer hitch. There's that aluminum trim around the windows to give it a little more of a luxury look. You have the base wheels. Those are also 20-inch wheels, which I like quite a lot. But it's very subtle. If you don't know what you're looking for, you won't know. And if we look in the exhaust, because I'm that kind of weird, there's a real exhaust in here, unlike what Audi's doing, and it's a dual exhaust. There's another exhaust over here. But if we look at the exhaust on the M50i, there's double. It's a quad exhaust on each side. But I just wanted to show you guys the difference. Sorry for the plane going over. Of the exterior differences on the X5 M50i versus the 40i. Now I do want to note that you can make a 40i look like this, like the M50i. Well, why would you want to make it look like this without the performance? I have seen a 40i with the M Sport package in carbon black that looked pretty good. And I bet the price was better as well than the near $90,000 8-cylinder trim. Which vehicle would you rather pick? The X5 M50i, which is on the left with 523 horsepower, 553 pound-feet, or the X3M Competition on the right, which 503 horsepower and 440 pound-feet. Now, the X5 is the luxury SUV of the year. This is the most extreme one in our area right now. We haven't seen the X5M or the X5M Competition, just like the X3M Competition, the most extreme X3 you can buy. The X5M has M Sport suspension, brakes, and exhaust, and of course an M Sport rear differential. This over here gets the M Competition package, which gets the sports exhaust as well. BMW M brakes, big brakes. This vehicle comes on summer tires, much stiffer than the X5M 50i. Now the interesting part is that the M50i gets better gas mileage. It gets about 18 combined versus the X3M gets about 16 combined. I'm not sure if that's gas tank size or pounds per square inch through the boost of the turbos. The fuel to air mixture in the X3M is much more potent than, I'm sure, than the M50i X5. But and the gas tank on the X3M is smaller than the X5 M50i as well. The X5 has 72 cubic feet of cargo with the seats down, versus the X3 has 62 cubic feet of cargo with the seats down. That's a 10 cubic feet difference. Now in the M50, the badging, the M50 is in satin. So the question goes, which one of these two would you have? The one on the left is an extremely sharp knife. The one on the right is a knife, a hammer, and a screwdriver, all on one vehicle. They both cost around the same. You would think going with a smaller one would save you gas, but the bigger one is more fuel efficient, more versatile. This size is usually the size people go for when they're going for BMWs, especially SUVs, in regular form, of course, in the 30i form, which has a 4-cylinder, 248 horsepower. It's a nice size because the kids have moved out, and now you have a little bit more money to spend something nice on yourself. This one, perhaps the kids are still there. Perhaps you need to go skiing. Perhaps you need to tow something, tow a boat. It can tow 7,200 pounds. So which one of these two would you pick? I'd pick the one on the right. It's up to date. It can do more. The one on the left is, it's extreme. It's a super SUV. It's bonkers for the street, and you can't really reach its potential on the street. But the one on the right has that. Just because it's not so good on the racetrack as the one on the left, you can enjoy it on the street. You can feel its performance levels better. You can reach them easier. Now, let's jump inside of the X3. Turn that off. See, you have your Alcantara leather, extended merino. You have your carbon fiber. That's all M competition stuff. That's not stuff you'll find in the M50i X5 next to us. This is all real leather. You have the competition seats with extended merino, with some Alcantara inside, cut in the inlays. The steering wheel has the M buttons on them, where you can customize M1 and M2 buttons however you'd like for your driving situation. And you still have the classic dials. Now, let's start the car up. There you go. And we'll turn it off. But this interior, because BMW made it so simple, it's not really aging. And up here we have the iDrive 6, which maps, but this still has the iDrive 6 tab. The stop start button is red because this is a competition vehicle. It's an M car. And this is also finished in gloss black, the auto stop start function. The steering wheel is an M Sport steering wheel, of course, heated. It has the M colors dished on there. Ooh, that looks nice. It's a nice touch. And down here, you have your gear lever, the M gear lever for the M cars. And you have your suspension, your throttle blipping, your steering wheel. You have your exhaust button. Being in an SUV, you still have hill descent control, parking brake, auto hold, and you could see there's more carbon fiber trim since we're in the competition vehicle. Just want to show you where this the price of this vehicle is heightening. There's your X3 M competition, and you have a wireless charging pad, which was updated to to the vehicles today. Inside the X5 M50i, you have this nice leather here with this coffee for NASCAR leather. You have your trim here, and you also have your ambient lighting here through this line, which you can't see right now because it's during the day. On the doors you have your massage function, and you have a function there, the L2, which you can control the passenger seat using your controls down here. Now, as we go to the steering wheel, you can see that the steering wheel doesn't have the M1 and M2, the red buttons here, because this car does not have that level of customization, but you can customize this car quite a lot. This car happens to have the auto stop, the ACC function, as BMW calls it, which is automatic cruise control. You also have distance control there for the and steering intervention, where you can have the vehicle pretty much drive itself. You still have your heated seats. This still is an M steering wheel, but it is missing this stitching. Huh, interesting. So you notice that you're getting a lot more of luxury things than more sporty racing heritage things. But in here you can see a bit of racing heritage with the X5 M50i, which is just a nice sprinkle. If I start the vehicle, now the stop start button is down here this time instead of up here as in the X3 and the red button. So I'll press the stop start button, and there we go. And the steering wheel moves towards me. The steering wheel on this vehicle is automatic. It's not a manual steering wheel. So you do have a button there, which if you touch, you can move it in, out, up and down. It's electronically assisted, and it moves out, up and down as well when you open the door, depending on where your seat memory is at. Back to the instrument cluster. This is the current instrument cluster. The Star Trek look. It's an orange hue, which is classic BMW. And you have your map there in the middle as well, showing what street we're on. And as you look around, you can see that this car is just a bit cleaner, a bit more luxurious than the X3 was inside, including the trim here in the middle. Look at this wood trim and how all of this is set up. This gear lever is not an M gear lever, it's a regular one. Press on the side to unlock it, and the M1 you just slapped it to the right or to the left or back. You have adaptive button here. In the X3M you had a suspension button here, and the X3M to adjust its adaptive as well. You have Sport, Comfort, and Eco. Not throttle blipping, steering, suspension, exhaust. Now you get the gist of that. You still get your auto stop start function. You have your auto hold, and since we are in an SUV, you still have your hill descent control. Now, this is the iDrive 7. So I think we're winning here. We're choosing convenience and luxury. A little more over performance is the X3. So this is the home button. You can see all the tabs on the left, and the screen now has the other stuff that you'd like to have on here to get to quickly. You have your maps, you have the music, you have communication, what's going on with the car, yada yada yada, which is amazing. Down here you have your ventilated and heated seats. So when I press that, it lets you choose between ventilated and heated. And like I said, this car also has massage seats. It has heated steering wheel, sorry. Massage steering wheel. It has multi-contour seats. You can check out just how much more comfortable these seats are than the X3M competition. You can grab the headrest and mold it to your head. The top quarter of this seat moves as well as the whole backrest. These seats are ventilated and heated, and they're pretty comfortable for standard seats, of course. Other than that, I'd say those are the big differences on these two cars. You could pretty much put the same options in them, except the technology is heightened in the X5, and the X5 is more flexible. You can option these cars to cost fairly the same if you built it from scratch. And that's why I asked, which one of these two vehicles would you rather choose? One, being an 8-cylinder, has a vent, air curtains that it has to open when the car gets hot. The other one has vents that are constantly open. Because guess what? That engine's life needs to be expanded. It needs to be stretched out. So there's no time to guess if this vehicle's getting air or not. It needs air. You can tell by its bottom lip here, the bottom mouth, which is astronomical in real time. Versus this vehicle, you drive at 10 feet and these vents come on versus a regular X5. So this car also needs air from its 4.4 liter V8. Another reason I would pick the X5 over the X3 is that I like how it looks. You know what I love about the BMW M Sport packages is how subtle the cars look and bold. This X5 being a M Sport M50i, the whole car is one color. There are no black over the wheels, over the cowl of the wheels. There's just two colors mainly, black and white. And there's a bit of satin here on the exhaust. And of course, the badges are also satin. On the Donington Gray X3, it also has that subtle look to it. There's no chrome around the windows. The big wheels look pretty nice. But I would still pick the X5 because the X5 looks just a little bit better. The X5 looks a little more modern than the X3. The X3 is now starting to age in my book, being around since late 2017. The X5 was redone in 2019. As a matter of fact, the tech in the X5 is upgraded compared to the tech in the X3M competition that just came out. This car, you know, it's worth, if you option it well, you can come out to mid-80s, but you still have tech from the last generation, meaning it has iDrive 6, when the X5 has iDrive 7 and has the new instrument cluster. But that's where I would say the X3 excels. I love the instrument cluster in the X3. It looks much better.